All right. Welcome in everyone into the mental health stream. It's Monday, uh, so we're gonna be doing this stream call. It's a mental health stream. It's just chatting, and it's going to be called Mental Health Mondays. So starting starting now, and then leading the following Mondays, the upcoming Mondays. It is on. It is posted on my stream schedule, which I am still getting my stream schedule all uh, organized and tried to figure what I want to stream and stuff like that as well. And but mental health streams is one thing that people liked and has enjoyed like in like past streams I've noticed. And um so Mondays I figured, well, it would be a good day to start off the week, start off like make sure to check in with that. It's a good way to check in with everyone, not just myself, but with everyone, and see where everyone's mental health is at um, during during the uh, for the start of the week. So let me see. Let me see if I can get. Let's see if I can get a poll up. Let's see if I can't get a poll up. We are going to. We're going to. We're gonna have a poll. All right. So we are going to do. Um, we're gonna do like a. We're gonna do this. Let's see. We're gonna set this poll timer for 5 minutes. No, hold on. We'll set it for 3 minutes, and we'll see where everyone's mental health is right now. And while we're doing that, I am going to. If y'all don't see the poll on the top of the chat, please feel free to refresh your screen and if needed. Um, so yes, we like I said, this is a mental health stream. It's going to be just chatting, and we're going to be talking about like certain there's going to be a different topic for each stream. Um, and we're going to I'm gonna like talk, and if anyone has anything that they like to say or like want to talk about or have any questions, feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat as well. All right. So I was thinking, what a good mental health stream is to start off, especially with like the holidays coming up. Um, I know Halloween is just tomorrow, but we have Thanksgiving. Well, here in the United States, we have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas coming up. Like all the holidays and stuff. Like whenever I think of the holidays, I also think of people going through depression, and then like the depression gets so deep where it leads to suicidal thoughts, and and not only that, like still dealing with a loss from a suicide loss, and the holidays coming up, and it just I want to touch base on I want to touch base on pretty much the whole. um I want to talk about like as like the topic today is 10 reasons people attempt suicide even if they seem okay. And um so that's one of the things that we are going to be talking about. um all right, so the poll is getting ready to close. The poll is has ended, and we're going. No one really, no one even voted on the poll. So I'm not for sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing or what. So we we will do the same poll again. We're gonna do the same poll at the beginning and at the end of each mental health stream. So just be prepared for that. All right. So we're going to be talking about 10 reasons people attempt suicide, even if they seem okay. And this was updated back in October 24th of 2022. It's it's an article, and I feel like this would be a good. Um, I feel like this would be a good thing to start off with. There's like there's like a few different topics, but we're just gonna go through this one and see where the time is, and try and see how the stream's going, and just do that. All right, so it says the article starts out. It's common. It's a common question that people ask when they hear about someone who attempted or died by suicide. Why would they do that? They seem to be doing so well. The truth is, we don't always know why. However, there is often a period of time between the initial crisis and the act of suicide itself. During this time, the individual may appear to be feeling better. At first glance, it may not make sense. Why would someone who is feeling better attempt suicide? However, for people struggling with depression or mental health disorders, this is a very real phenomenon. It's a common misconception that suicide is motivated solely by negative feelings. In reality, many people who attempt suicide do so when they appear to be feeling relief from pain, not when they're feeling pain itself. So, why do people attempt suicide even when they appear to feel better. So we're gonna be talking about that, and then also another thing. Let me go ahead and let me do this. I'm gonna post this in here. I'm gonna post this in the chat. So there's the crisis support. If you are having suicidal thoughts, contact the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988 for support and assistance from a trained counselor. If you or a loved one are in immediate danger, just call 911. For more mental health resources, you can also see the National Helpline database. All right. I just wanted to put that out there as well. All right. So they may not actually be feeling better. Just because someone appears to be doing well on the outside doesn't mean they're really feeling better on the inside. Often, people who are considering suicide will put a brave face in order to hide their true feelings from the world. Even though they may have found a way to hide their pain, they may still feel the same on the inside. For some people, the thought of living with that pain for the rest of their lives is too much to bear, but they see suicide as the only way out. So even if someone sees like they're doing better, it's important to check in with them and make sure that they're really okay. They may believe that their problems are in, insurmountable. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, 4.9% of people aged 18 and older experienced suicidal thoughts in 2020. The rates increase if someone is of two or more races. People who experience suicidal ideation often feel of hopeless and helpless as a result of believing that nothing will get better. Their attempt may actually be a cry for help. The answer may lie in what's known as a suicide gesture. A suicide gesture is an act that is intended to get attention, but not necessarily causes death. It's a way of crying out for help. That sometimes people who make suicide gestures are actually hoping to be stopped. They may not be ready to die, but they feel like they can't go on living and don't know what else to do to find relief. At times, they may not have been taken seriously when they talked about how they felt or asked for help. If you're feeling like this, it's important to reach out for help directly. Talking to a therapist or counselor can be a great way to get that help you need without resorting to desperate measures. They may be afraid of what might happen if they don't make an attempt. they may be afraid of what other people will think or say. If they don't go through it, or they may be afraid that they'll never have the courage to try again. Sometimes people see attempting suicide as a way of showing others how serious they were about dying. They may have unresolved trauma or dangling loose ends in their life. Even if they're no longer in pain, they may still feel like they have no purpose or direction in life. In a national U.S. survey conducted in 2021 and published in JAMA Psychiatry, it was shown that lower educational attainment and in recent financial crisis were risk factors for suicide attempts. For some people, suicide may seem like the only way to escape their current situation. They may have an undiagnosed mental illness. Mental illness can cause mood swings and periods of highs and lows. Just because someone appears to be doing well doesn't mean they're not struggling with mental health issues. A diagnosis, a diagnosis of depression, in particular, has been shown to be a risk factor for suicide attempts in both men and women. All right. They may feel like others will be better off without them. Even though things may have seemed better for a while, they feel like there's no point in trying anymore because nothing will ever change. They may believe that everyone would be better off without them, and that death is the only way to end their pain and suffering. They may not have a support system in a place to help them through difficult times. When people are feeling suicidal, they often feel like they're all alone in the world and that no one cares about them. This can be especially true for those who have previously attempted suicide. If you don't have anyone to turn to when you're feeling down, it's important to reach out to a suicide hotline or other helpful resources. They may have been holding it together for others. In addition, they may finally have the strength to attempt suicide after years of holding it together for the sake of others. They have already decided that they will commit suicide. Someone may have already decided to carry through with suicide but want to make sure they leave things in order before they do. They seem okay because they know relief is coming. All right. So if you were someone appears to be feeling better after a period of stress, it's important to be aware that this doesn't mean that they're no longer at risk for suicide. In fact, this may be a warning sign if you or someone is considering suicide. So please reach out for help. And if anyone needs any help finding those kind of resources, I would like to go ahead and tell everyone that um, as uh, as mental health streams, I um, I will do my best to help get you the resources that you need as um, as, as we see fit. Um, I again, I am in no way whatsoever. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. But that doesn't mean I can't still help um, help lead you or someone to the right person who can help like that. All right. So moving on. Uh, I don't know why she does that. Anyways, all right. So moving on. What to say to someone who is suicidal? So one of the most frightening experiences a person can have is hearing a friend or loved one say they want to die. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC) reports that nearly 50,000 people die by suicide each year, a number that rose 2.6% between 2021 and 2022. While it can be tempting to cope with this information by labeling it as attention seeking behavior or clinging to the myth that people who talk about suicide don't actually follow through, which is simply untrue. It's important to take all warnings signs of suicide and suicide ideation seriously. By not taking by not talking about suicide by not talking about suicidality and feelings of certain for others, we are unable to make the connections necessary for support and intervention, says Robin Glenn, MA, therapist who working with at-risk teens and their families. By not talking about suicidality and concerns. All right, welcome back. Um, all right. By not talking about suicidality or concerns, those suffering from ideation may not know they have a safe space for help seeking and are less likely to reach out when they need resources. If you're just now joining in the stream, um, we're this is the Mental Health Monday stream, uh, and we're going to be starting the mental health streams, having Mental Health Mondays on Mondays at 4 p.m. Central Time each week, and each week is going to be a different topic that we're going to be discussing and such. And so right now we're going over like we're going over stuff like information uh, about suicide and suicide awareness and stuff like that because I feel like that is important to touch base on, and especially with the holidays coming up and such, I feel like that is a good. Um, I feel like that's a good thing to be touching base on with others and uh, to be spreading the awareness as well, and try to get everyone more educated and such within stuff like that. Um, all right, so let's move. Let's move on because right now we're talking about what to say to what to do when a friend is suicidal. So if you know if someone you know is suicidal, one, determine if the risk is imminent, um, and call 911 if it is. Ask questions about what they're feeling. Show genuine concern. Listen calmly and encourage them to reach out to a suicide hotline. If the risk of suicide is im- imminent, if your friend is at risk of attempting suicide right now, call your local police department or 911 right away. Imminent danger includes situations where a person includes situations where the person is in the possession of weapons, pills, or other means to follow through with suicide. If possible, don't leave them alone and do your best to remove any items they can use to hurt themselves. If if it's if it is safe, you may also drive your friend to the emergency room. Doctors will assess their mental and physical health and create a clear plan that will help keep them safe. If, on the other hand, you believe the threat is serious, but not imminent, it's still important to act, but the threat is serious, but not. Sorry, I got my mother distracted me on where I was reading, so let me start over. She's always a distraction. All right. If if on the other hand you believe that the threat is serious but not imminent, it's still important to act, but you may take the time to show support, listen, and encourage them. But you may take the time to just hold on. I have to take a little breather. Hold on. Get ahead of myself. All right. Sorry about that. Try it. Try this again. If, on the other hand, you believe that this the threat is serious but not imminent, it's still important to act, but you may take the time to show support, listen, and encourage them to speak to professional help. Help is available. Here are some helpful tips and from various suicide prevention resources. Confirming suicidal thoughts. If you are unsure what to say, um, the being direct and factual as you discuss your obser- or be direct and factional as you discuss your observations. Use phrases such as I am worried about you because I am noticing that you're not sleeping or taking care of yourself the way you normally do. When you ask about suicidality, she said she suggests directly asking, "Have you been thinking about killing yourself?" Don't be afraid to ask, "Are you having thoughts of suicide?" Studies show that asking at risk friends and family members if they are thinking about suicide does not increase suicidal thoughts. You are not putting ideas into their heads by asking. On the contrary, asking will give you valuable information about how to proceed and help. If it is now widely known in clinical communities that talking helps, it will not plant an idea. In addition, the more often we talk, the better off we are. And there goes those dogs, those neighbor dogs. Oh my goodness. I love dogs, but whenever they're barking like that nonstop, no, sorry. That's for no reason. Uh, all right, so get the facts. If the answer is yes, follow these three questions. Follow up with these three questions. Have you thought about how you would do it? Do you have what you need to carry out your plan? Do you know when you will do it? Fortunately, most people will either say they have no definite plans or don't have the nerve to do it themselves. Although this is still a serious situation, if their answers indicate that they don't have a plan, they're probably not in immediate danger of hurting themselves. Take their words as a plea for help and proceed with helping them get the assistance that they need. Urge them to seek professional help as soon as possible. If the answers they give you lead you to believe they are immediate danger, don't hesitate to contact the authorities. You may feel like you will lose their friendship if you take action. Your friend may even tell you that you're betraying them or making them angry. Just remember that you may permanently lose your friendship if you don't. That when they're well again, they will thank you. To help a friend who is suicidal. There are a number of different things you can do to be a supportive and friend. Empathetic friend. Yeah. Um, the key is to avoid being judgmental and dismissive of what your friend is feeling. Speak from the heart. You may be struggling with trying to figure out what to say to someone who is depressed or suicidal. Remember, there are no right or wrong things you can say if you are speaking out of love and concern. Just be yourself. so that you are so that you care by talking to them. Hold them when they cry or whatever else is necessary. Research has shown that acknowledging what people are experiencing may help them process their thoughts and may reduce their suicidal thoughts. Listen. A suicidal person usually is carrying around some burden that they feel they just can't handle it anymore. Offer to listen as they share their feelings of despair, anger, and loneliness. Sometimes this is enough to lighten the load, just enough for them to carry on. Be sympathetic, non-judgmental, patient, calm, and accepting. The person will pick up your attitude and begin to mirror it for themselves. Keep them talking. Talking will allow them to reduce their emotional burden and give them time to calm down. The longer you keep them talking, the more you can take the edge off their their desperation. As their momentum winds down, it's harder for them to act on their feelings. Glenn emphasized this part of this lady, the article. She emphasizes the importance of being yourself and recognizing your own power to make a difference in your friend's life. When in doubt in life, be yourself. Authentic, Authenticity, sincerity, and a little bit of bravery can add light and hope to another's isolation and secret suffering. You you have an incredible superpower to be a beacon of connection just by being you. Avoid trying to solve the problem. Try not to offer quick solutions or belittle the person's feelings. How how big they perceive the problem to be and how much they are hurting over it is what counts. Rational arguments do little good to persuade the person when they are in this state of mind. Instead, offer your empathy and compassion for what they are feeling without making any judgments about whether they should feel that way. All right, hold on. Someone's knocking. All right. Let's go back. All right. Take care of yourself. Dealing with a suicide threat is very stressful. Be sure to care for yourself as well as seek assistance to process and decompress afterward. Talk to a trusted friend, a therapist, your doctor, a religious leader, or anyone who can offer support for what you've been through and how you feel about it. Keep checking in. Lynn notes that talking about suicidality isn't just a one-time conversation. If you are concerned about someone, checking in with them regularly can give you a better understanding of what they might be experiencing. Talking about these things can help loved ones better spot the difference between fleeting thoughts and active suicidal ideation, which is why Glenn suggests making such conversations as a regular part of life's a dialogue. All right. All right. And then seeking emergency help. If the person has already started a suicide attempt, call for help immediately. If they are still conscious, yeah, yeah, I can't even say that word. Yeah, well, I can't say that word. Conscious. Well, I'm glad you can say it, Robin. You can say it without teeth. I'm glad you can. Well, I'm glad. Get what information you can about any substances they have ingested, how long ago they took them, how much they took when they last ate, and their general state of health. If you are in the situation, such as an online friendship, where you know very little about the person, encourage them to call 911 on their own local or suicide hotline in their area. This is your best option because a local agency, such as a 911 or hotline, may be able to trace the call and get assistance to them. If they refuse to call, do your best to learn whatever personal information you can about the person. Don't hesitate to ask them for their address, phone number, and other information to help dispatch an emergency crew to their home. All right, so here's some more helpful resources. First off is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It's a locate support groups for friends and families of suicide victims. National Suicide Prevention Directory. Contact information for suicide prevention agencies by state. Then there's the Samaritans, a charity that provides 24/7 confidential emotional support to any person, irrespective of race, creed, age, or status, who is suicidal or despairing. Then there's the Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, includes an FAQ, facts, answers, and questions, general information on suicide, some common statics, symptoms of depression, a book list, and more. And then there's also the Yellow Ribbon Program. It's a program aimed at suicide prevention and awareness. All right. So, all right, I think I think what we're going to do is I am going to do another poll. I'm going to do another poll. Do another poll. All right. So there is a poll started in the chat. If you don't see it, refresh the screen or refresh your chat. Um, it's just a quick poll to check and see where everyone's mental health is at the moment, and then we will find. After that, we will find someone to raid out to. We'll find someone to raid out to. Let's see. Let's find someone to write it out to. All right, so we are going to raid out.